With 335 days until Election Day in 2026, the Republican Party is projected to hold its Senate majority with 51 seats, as Democrats are expected to pick up 2 seats according to the first model run of my very own 2026 U.S. Senate forecast. That's right, I'm excited to announce the launch of my official 2026 forecasting website, which features a full Senate forecast for every state. You can check it out now at electionpredictionofficial.com. In today's video, I'll walk you through the site and explain how the subscription service works. First, let's look at the homepage. When you search for electionpredictionofficial.com, you'll land on a home screen that looks like this. From here, you can access my 2026 Senate forecast and soon my 2026 House forecast, which will be released in the coming months. Next, you'll see the subscription tiers for the forecasts. The free version gives everyone access to the national view. Here's what that looks like. No matter whether you subscribe, you will always be able to see the top-line numbers, each party's national seat projections, along with a map showing how every state is rated from safe to likely to lean to tilt for either party. The free version does not include the full data table beneath the map. To access that dashboard, you would need the congressional tier, which is just $2. That unlocks the projected margins in every race, their implied probabilities, state-by-state vote share estimates for both parties, and all the major factors that go into my predictions. This includes my partisan voting index, my polling average, which will fill out once more polling becomes available in the new year, the expert ratings projection based on forecasters like the Cook Political Report and Sabato's Crystal Ball, another projection based on prediction market odds from places like Kalshi and Polymarket, and finally the 2024 presidential margin in every state. With a congressional membership, you can also hover over any state on the map to see its projected margin and probability of victory. If you click on a state, a new tab opens with that state's full page. Congressional members can view the page, but they do not have access to the data inside it. For that, you would need to upgrade to the presidential tier for $5. The presidential tier gives you full access to every state page, including my county-level predictions. That includes a map of every county, projected margins for each, and population totals so you can easily see how much of the statewide vote is coming from particular regions. For example, you can see how much of Georgia's vote share is coming from the Atlanta metro compared to the rest of the states. Here in this table, you'll also have access to more state-specific data. That includes all the factors from the national dashboard, plus the previous Class 2 Senate margin for that seat, the 2024 and 2020 presidential results, and each state's relative shift against the national average over the last 4 presidential elections. So for a state like Georgia, you can see exactly how far it has shifted to the left compared to the rest of the country since 2012. Next, I include a set of demographic metrics. You will see each state's population and rank its population growth over the last 5 years and the last 10 years, and the average turnout across the last 4 election cycles. I also provide socio-demographic data, including the share of residents with a college degree, the percentage of the population that is non-white, the share of residents over 65, the median household income, and an urbanization index. That index measures how densely people live by averaging the population within a 5-mile radius of each resident based on census tract data. If you are confused or curious about any of these data points, there is a glossary below, along with a step-by-step outline of my methodology that explains how I use these inputs to arrive at each state's projected margin. You are also able to leave comments on each state page so you can share your thoughts and spark some debates. Finally, the executive tier grants exclusive access to the master spreadsheet that houses all of the data you see on the site and more, updated directly by me. Executive members get access to this data before it goes live on the website, along with a more detailed breakdown of each state's county-level predictions and how those numbers are derived. Now, with that whole explanation out of the way, let's take a quick look at my current forecast for the 2026 Senate elections. As I said at the start of the video, the numbers point toward Republicans holding their Senate majority, but with 2 fewer seats than they have now. Republicans begin this cycle defending a 53-seat majority. And while 2026 is expected to be a strong year for Democrats, the basic structure of the map favors the GOP. They are defending only 1 seat in a state Harris carried in 2024, Maine, which the model currently has flipping Democratic by just under a point. They are also defending only 1 seat in a single-digit Trump state, North Carolina, which I also have flipping to Democrats by a slightly larger 2.2-point margin. Both flips sit below a 62% probability right now, so they are only marginally better than coin flips. Meanwhile, Democrats are defending 2 seats in states Trump won. Michigan, rated tilt Democrat with a 59.4% chance of holding, and Georgia, rated lean Democrat at about 66%. They are also defending 5 seats in Harris states decided by less than 10 points: New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, New Jersey, and New Hampshire, all of which are currently strongly favored to stay Democratic. From here, the path to a Democratic majority is tough. They need to get to 51 seats, since Vice President J.D. Vance would break any 50-50 tie. That means they'd need to flip 2 more seats beyond Maine and North Carolina. Right now, my forecast identifies Ohio as the next most competitive GOP seat, but still at about a 70% chance of a Republican hold. After that comes Texas, with an 80.2% chance of staying Republican, followed by a group of states that are even more difficult for Democrats: Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Alaska, and Florida. They'll need at least 2 of those states to break their way, and they'll also need to hold every competitive seat currently leaning in their favor to reach 51. While my model doesn't generate an overall probability of a Democratic Senate majority, I'd reasonably estimate their chances at around 25%, roughly 1 in 4. That lines up with the latest prediction market odds on Kalshi, where Democrats had been sitting below 30% for several months. As of today, those odds have climbed to 33%, which is their highest level so far. And that's at a moment when Democrats are leading Republicans by their largest margin yet in the generic ballot average. Needless to say, whether or not this gap grows or shrinks in the next 11 months will play a major role in the outcome of these Senate races. For now, 51 to 49 seems to be the most reasonable projection based on the data we have so far. All told, we've still got a long way to go before next November. I'll be updating this forecast as often as possible, so make sure to bookmark the site or subscribe to one of the tiers so you're always in the loop. Feel free to let me know how I can improve the site in the comments below. I want this to be as easy to read and navigate as possible for you. And as always, thank you so much for your support. Shout out to my channel members listed in the description, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the content. Check out more of my videos here. I'll see you next time. EP out.